This is good. This is a little bit high, so I'm going to let him work in here. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. I give you both instructions. I just want to remind you, listen and obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Fight hard, fight clean. Good luck.
So here we go, Teddy. Austin, no doubt Trout has said after his layoff of 8 months, he's better spiritually, he's better physically, and he's ready to make another run at the top.
Well, one of the reasons he's ready, Dawson had a layoff, coming off a layoff of longer than that, 11 months. Matter of fact, Dawson, plenty of inactivity, 11 months last fight, and before that, 9 months he was off. So maybe Trout can get something going a little bit early here. Most of the fights in Australia for Mr. Dawson, only one out of his 44 fights have been in the United States. And that one, he got it. He was knocked out. Not too sure how happy he is to be fighting back here. And guess what, Todd? That knockout loss was also in this state, California. So Dawson hopes, he hopes his experience is a little better.
Dawson was all smiles yesterday and today. I saw him before the fight. I asked him how many people would be watching in Australia, and he said heaps. Apparently that's a word they use a lot down there. He said heaps and heaps.
Yeah, I'm going to be exact about the geography where he comes from. Perth, Australia. I learned a little something today. Say hello to all those good people in Perth, Australia, that are rooting for that man. Good day, mate.
And Austin Trout, mentioned earlier, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. He wanted me to point out he's only wearing one patch on his trunks tonight. It is for the March of Dimes, which his family is very involved with.
Very nice. Good to see selfless people looking out for others, not only themselves. That only makes them stronger. When you fight for a cause, not only your own cause, I always believe you fight a little better and a little stronger.
Trout does not want to give any charity, though, tonight to Dawson, who is very dangerous. 26 knockouts in his 40 wins. And Dawson's been in there with some top competition. Lost to Sergey's in Zurich in May of 2010. That was for a junior middleweight title. And also one of his other losses to Daniel Geale in Australia. So his 3 losses, 2 of them to very big names in the sport.
Both are being careful, trying to figure each other out. Hey, look, that's Trout's way. You know, he likes to counter. He likes you to come forward, and he likes to take advantage of your aggression a little bit. So him being careful, him being thoughtful is normal. And you can see Dawson, while he's never been quite under these hot lights before. So he's trying to get rid of a little bit of that stage fright, a little of those nerves, and get himself acclimated to this level of fights against this level of opponent.
The people, and a nice left hand connect, sneaks through the gloves there from Trout.
Well, that's his power punch. Southpaw punch, the backhand. You know, he's not a big puncher, Trout, but that would be his bigger punch. The one that he can turn into. Turn that left foot, put that back into it.
So the first round, a good round for the return of Austin Trout. Stop punching. Welcome back to the Changa Resort and Casino. This is Friday Night Fights, round 2 of our main event. Austin, no doubt, Trout, 26-2. He's wearing the white trunks with zebra print, I believe that is, taking on the Aussie, Daniel Dawson, in the black and orange.
You know, the people, Trout's people, picked an opponent here in Dawson with a good record, but someone who's 36 years old who has not been able to win at the B+ level, and Trout is at least at or above the B+ level in my estimation. So everything obviously on the side of Trout.
Including the odds, Eddie. Las Vegas has Trout as high as a 25-1 favorite in this fight.
Yeah, well, it belongs to that. And Dawson was hurt badly in his last round of his last fight 11 months ago by a 38-year-old fighter.
That was Alex Bunima. And Daniel Dawson did win that fight by unanimous decision, but as you mentioned, he was rocked in round 12, barely survived the round. But to his credit, Dawson has never been knocked down in his professional career.
No, and he has been cut over his left eye. A little scar tissue over that left eye of Dawson. No problem so far. one more little bit of bad news. Might as well get it out of the way.
Yeah. Boy, you're not Mr. Pessimistic, are you?
Mr. Dawson, that knockout loss that he suffered, the one knockout loss on his career that happened the last time he fought in the United States, you got it. It was to a southpaw.
All right, now let's have you say something nice about Dawson. He's got a lot of people in Australia watching him right now.
I said it early. Tough kid. You know, a kid that will give it his all. He's trying to figure out the key to that front door. Right now, he doesn't want to just ramble in like a bull in a china shop and break a lot of stuff, especially his own stuff. You know, he wants to try to get in there safely. He's trying to figure out what that way would be. I'm waiting for him to start bending a little bit, bobbing and weaving a little bit, going to the body a little bit, because really, that's his MO.
Daniel, let him go, Daniel.
I think he's still a little frozen. You know, I mean, first of all, jet lag, I mean, long trip over here for the travel. But when I say frozen, just, you know, again, try to acclimate himself to these bright lights with such a good opponent. And he might not get a chance to do that if he don't get himself going a little bit.
We saw Dawson take a big, deep breath. He knows what he's in for now. Trout showing that he has plenty of power himself, and that was a slip.
Over there, in gloves. Step back, step back.
So round two, another good round for Austin Trout.
Time.
We'll be fighting the winner of this fight. Sam Sullivan taking on Jermaine Taylor, who has one more shot, it appears, at Glory. That's October 1st and October 8th. Right now, another former champion, Austin No Doubt Trout, trying to get back on the horse, so to speak, after two tough losses back-to-back to Canelo Alvarez and Irislandi Lara. And whatever the game plan has been for Dawson thus far, it has not worked at all. Dawson told us, no matter what happens tonight, win or lose, that his performance will be so good that the public will clamor to see him fight again.
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, there's a right hand out of the blue, and the Aussie drops him just like that.
You set it up beautifully.
6, 7, 8.
For the third straight fight, Trout goes down.
Step back.
That's exactly right. Bad memories, thoughts, and buzzing in the head right now of Trout on the floor in his last 3 fights right now.
Trout told us yesterday he didn't care how he won. If it was boring, he didn't care. He just wanted to get a win. That may be in doubt right now as Dawson gets a knockdown in round 3.
Maybe reading the clippings too much of Dawson, all the reasons why Dawson should lose. Trout got caught a little bit lax, a little bit by surprise, maybe a little overconfident. And right now, I think Dawson maybe...
Oh, and there's a shot from Trout that whips Dawson's head almost completely around.
Yeah, Dawson, I think, might have blown the moment. And look, it's a lot of time left. He won this round so far with the knockdown, but he didn't jump on Trout. And for me, my feeling is, when you got a guy who's better than you, and Trout's better than him, going into the fight, and you're the big underdog, you got him in trouble. Get on him. And get rid of him if you can right then. He's allowed, Dawson, by laying back a little bit, has allowed Trout to recover.
And Trout going right back into the fire reminds me a little bit of the right fight between Ruslan Provodnikov and Timothy Bradley. Bradley felt like he had to prove something, didn't box, just wanted to slug it out. Hopefully for Trout, he doesn't have that same mentality.
You know, Trout's legs just didn't look right after he got dropped. I don't think they're 100% yet, but again, Dawson decided, you know, to lay back. Oh, there's another right hand. Picking his spot. And you know what, Lance? Right hands against southpaw.
5, 6.
This is a shocker, ladies and gentlemen. 25-1, Austin Trout, 25-1 favorite, has been dropped twice in round 3.
And again, the southpaw killer, right hand. And that's exactly what Dawson is employing right now. Give him credit for coming in here and understanding if he had a shot, the shot was going to be with the right hand. He has landed that punch twice in the last round.
Keep your feet under you, son.
Get your head in the bucket. Keep your head in there.
All right. Take a big, big, deep breath, son. Hey, get back on the jab and keep your feet under you, okay? You got a little greedy with it. Remember, after you finish your combination, you got to get back on defense, okay? Don't get lazy on me. He's good.
How you doing?
Let's take a look at the knockdowns. Here's the first, Teddy.
Yeah, Trout reaching in. You know, that's not his way. He's a counterpuncher. He was forced to be aggressive, got a little reckless, reached in a little bit. Again, that's not his way. He usually lays back and waits for you to reach in. He reached in. There it is again. He reached in, and the counterpuncher was Dawson with the right hand. Take a look at the second knockdown coming up right here. Trout standing there, admiring his work. Take another look at it. Standing there, and he punches, coming back to the middle. The right hand there. Again, here's the funny twist. The counterpuncher. Trout forced because of the pressure, the burden on his shoulders. Big, big favorite. Felt that he had to make the fight, had to prove a point. Maybe he had to come out of the dimensions he usually fights in. Had to come forward, had to be more aggressive. The counterpuncher comes forward. Dawson becomes the counterpuncher. Dawson winning the fight on the verge of a huge, huge upset.
I'm sure many of you have been reading that's going out right now, tuning in for the first time. This is Austin, no doubt Trout's return to the ring after consecutive losses to Canelo Alvarez and Irislandi Lara, taking on a 25-1 underdog, Daniel Dawson from Australia. And in round 3, 2 knockdowns for the Aussie, and we may be witnessing the upset of the year right before our eyes. Trout was willing to engage with Dawson to his peril in the 3rd round, now being much more cautious.
You hear that noise? You hear that noise? That's coming from Perth. Perth, Australia.
A 10-7 round, and all of a sudden Dawson has flipped the script. 28-27. Those of you scoring at home have it 2 rounds to 1. Obviously, you're not using a point system, but that round 3 was a heavily won round by Dawson.
In Perth right now, they're putting more shrimps on the barbie, and Dawson looking to put more right hands on the potato of Trout, right on the chin of Trout. And again, this is all about, look, it's about Dawson. It's about his right hand. It's about preparation. It's about his moment, trying to seize that moment like an underdog does. But it's about Trout being a counterpuncher tonight, making a transition, forced to come forward, and he's walking into counters.
How about this statistic, Teddy? In round number 3, Dawson only landed 5 punches. 2 of them were knockdowns.
Not a good statistic if you're Trout.
So round 4, certainly a much better pace for Austin Trout, who didn't seem to have too many troubles at all during the first 2 rounds.
You know, going into the fight, I mean, look, the thing you think about Trout, smart guy. And on the inside, again, that's not Trout's thing. You know, fighting, engaging in trenches. His thing is to counter. Take advantage of your reckless aggression. Guess what? Dawson's smart enough not to give any reckless aggression.
So Trout still probably trying to get his wits about himself after a horrendous round 3. This is the season finale of Friday Night Fights, and what a way to ride into the sunset, as they say, Teddy, with this main event.
Yeah, it sure is. And the sun could be setting on a little earlier than Trout wants it at 28 years of age on his career. 3rd straight loss would make you think about a sun setting if you were Mr. Trout.
And Daniel Dawson just changed his nickname. He was known as The Rock. Now he wants to be known as Awesome. And certainly that moniker fits well tonight.
You know,
the body shot there from Trout as Dawson was loading up that right hand.
Trout's all about, supposedly about at least, being fundamentally solid. Again, looking to counter, using his head, as well as his body, his brain, as well as his brawn. Not a big puncher. That's why it's tough when you get behind and you're not a big puncher with that eraser to make up rounds. And it's tough if you're a counterpuncher to get behind. Because then if the other guy gets ahead of you, you can box a little bit, stay away from you. Not really feed into you where you can catch up by catching him coming, because he doesn't have to come. All strategy. Again, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Dawson once again. You know, he's using that left hand just a little bit just to keep Trout honest a little bit. But he's looking for that right hand, but he's not winging it all over the place. And he's not making himself available and leaving himself open with the right hand. You know, he's not forcing pressure. He's looking for the right spots. But right now, Trout, not much coming at him. And I'm starting to feel like he just walk in and maybe do things that he doesn't normally do. Just physically overwhelm Dawson.
Well, we saw in round 3, Trout may not expect much coming, but all it takes is one punch from the heavy-handed Aussie to drop Trout. It happened 2 times in round 3.
You know, that's a great point, because right now, I have Dawson losing the last 2 rounds. The last round and this round, he's just not working enough. But it looks like his game plan is not to lose it. Now, understand what I'm saying at all. His game plan is not to lose it. Not just to win it, but not to lose it. Not to go in there trying too hard and get picked apart by Trout, who's capable of doing that. He's looking for his right spots, Dawson, to land that right hand without leaving himself available. Without giving Trout what he likes. But in doing that, in the rounds that he doesn't land it, he's losing those rounds.
You can almost see Trout grimace knowing a punch is coming.
Did you see that right hand again? Dawson just missed it. Just missed it. He saw Trout. There it is again. He's waiting for Trout to make a mistake. But Trout not making them right now.
Let's take a look at tonight's foolproof punch of the night, brought to you by Just for Men.
Well, Trout reaches in a little bit, and the right hand is right there by Dawson. Dawson was set for that. He took a little step back. See, he took a little step back, laid the trap, made Trout reach in a little bit, and bang! Nice right hand on the chin of the southpaw. Right hands usually work against lefty, and it's worked a few times tonight for Dawson, but I think he's starting to blow it a little bit. I said it, I'll stick with it. I said it back in the 3rd round, maybe the best opportunity. Dawson, that is. The big favorite. Maybe his best opportunity, Dawson, was to jump on Trout when he had him hurt. You know, and he didn't. He had him hurt. Maybe he had him hurt more than he realized. But he didn't jump on him. He let him recover a little bit. And now, you know, talent usually rises to the surface. And the talent of Trout now is rising to the surface.
Trout has taken control, according to Teddy, winning the last 2 rounds. In fact, he's won 4 of the 5. But there was that 3rd round that Austin Trout would just as soon forget. You scoring at home have given 2 rounds to Dawson. Of course, the 3rd, and you gave him the 4th as well. This is the season finale of Friday Night Fights. Austin Trout, former super welterweight champion of the world, defeated Miguel Cotto, but then lost back-to-back fights, taking on Daniel Dawson from Australia. Says, this is the biggest fight of my life. I'm going to make a splash. You will see me again. And he has certainly made a splash. 2 knockdowns in round 3, and he has Trout momentarily up against the ropes there. That right hand sneaks in, not a lot of power behind it.
Hey, stop, nobody punch.
Dawson, who has a 4-inch reach disadvantage, would love to get this thing a little closer together.
Now again, I can see the plan. We can all see the plan if we understand what we're seeing of Mr. Dawson. Again, this is a funny way. I don't know if I've ever said it this way before tonight, but he's trying not to lose the fight more than he's trying to win the fight right now. You know, Dawson is saying, I'm not going to just reach in there and get caught by the better man, by a man who likes to counterpunch. I'm going to wait for my spots with the right hand. Now, it worked for him in the 3rd round, but right now it's not working for him, and he's blowing rounds. He's allowing rounds to go out the side door.
Well, by your card, you only have him winning 1 round. He's going to have to do more than that if he wants to upset Trout.
That was a big round. It was a 10-7 round, but you're exactly right. Got to do more than that.
Well, Dawson's certainly saving his energy when he does throw the punches. They have plenty of venom behind him, but a good shot there by Trout as round 6 winds down.
You didn't come all the way out here to lose.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our main event of the evening. There's Daniel Dawson, the 36-year-old out of Perth, Australia. He's given Austin Trout all he could ever want in this, the season finale of Friday Night Fights. Trout dropped 2 times in round 3, but since that moment has taken control of this fight and appears to have won every round since the 3rd.
Yeah, I don't see it any other way. Again, half right hand will travel, half right hand will win rounds. And don't have right hand, you will not travel, you will not win rounds. And that really has been the case for Dawson so far tonight.
Dawson still very much in this round, in this fight, despite perhaps only winning one round. It was a 10-7. Right now, Teddy has 57. And then 4 rounds to 2 for Trout and Dawson, for those of you scoring at home. Just to put this in perspective, if you were a big Trout fan, you're in Las Vegas, you say, hey, I want to bet on Austin Trout. If you want to win $100 on Austin Trout tonight, you had to put down $2,500. That's the kind of odds that we're facing Daniel Dawson tonight.
And you've lost your supper and your lunch if you did that. Somebody needs to clean up that mess.
It's not over yet. Trout may be thinking knockout here.
So again,
you've got, sorry Teddy, you got to wonder though, is Dawson just trying to lure him in, get him to exchange?
Oh, he is. He's trying to find that right hand, but he's waiting too much now. And I said it earlier, the 3rd round, I just felt that he should have jumped on Trout because, again, at the end of the day, the better man was going to show up, and that's Trout. The better talent, that's Trout. It's showing up now. Your best opportunity was to jump on him when you had him hurt. And Dawson didn't do that. You know, it's kind of like when you watch the NCAA, March Madness. You watch those monsters, those giant teams, the better team, the better talent. And now Trout's really starting to take control. You see, in those kind of games, you see that maybe a team can get a little run together. But at the end of the day, the smaller team, the underdog, at the end of the day, the bigger, stronger team, the Dukes, the Kentuckys, they're going to take over. So if you're that smaller team, and you got a chance to make that run, keep making it. Keep making it. Because at the end of the day, the better guy is going to show up.
I don't know if that was a low blow or if Dawson rolled his ankle. Something did not go right. Oh, and an uppercut lands from Austin Trout. That's the punch you said that Trout needed to bring tonight. That may have been the first one we saw.
And again, this is like watching Kentucky basketball against one of those smaller teams. It's the second half of the game. Even though the smaller team was winning early, now the big guy starting to take control.
And Trout once again says, I'll slug with you, no problem. And other than round 3, it hasn't been a problem.
You're fine.
But Austin Trout showing plenty of heart, grit, and determination here tonight.
Stay focused.
And we said there was an injury. Couldn't tell if it was a low blow. Maybe he rolled his ankle. I'm being told it was something with his foot. Look at his, oh, there. Trout stepping on the left foot of Dawson. And that did it.
Yeah, and that will happen sometimes with a southpaw and an orthodox fighting. You can see why. The right lead leg of the southpaw, the right lead leg of the southpaw gets in the way and gets on top of the left lead leg of Dawson, the orthodox fighter.
All right. That's what you're good at doing.
Dawson told the referee he thinks he tore his calf muscle. That's what
he doesn't know that. He has no way of knowing that until he gets an MRI. I mean, he can feel that there's a muscle problem. He can feel there's pain, but there's no way that he knows what it is.
Where's the mouthpiece, please, Joe?
Well, he does know what part of the body's hurting, and he says it is his calf.
Yeah, he knows it's a cramp. He doesn't know what's torn.
If you miss with the
You know,
cross,
it could be a cramp. It could be a pulled muscle.
Right crosses that.
And you know what it is? It's a situation right now, in a moment, right now, that he's got to deal with. And we're going to watch him deal with it. That's what it is.
If it was completely torn, I don't think Daniel would be walking right now.
I agree with that.
Is that?
And guess what? The sport, last I checked, prize fighting. Fighting, what does that mean? Overcoming. Finding a way. And sometimes getting through an injury.
And one power punch landed in the last round is not enough for Dawson. It's not enough for any fighter, really. Unless you're Mike Tyson. There's Teddy's scorecard. And Dawson needs to start turning on the afterburner, so to speak. Not much fight left. In round 8 of a scheduled 10, this junior middleweight clash has been outstanding. Trout getting off the canvas twice, and round 3 to rally back like he's doing right now. A couple of big power punches from Trout. Now left to the right, and down goes Dawson for the first time in his professional career.
5, 6, 7, 8. Are you okay? You want to continue? Walk to me. Give me them gloves, brother.
And again, I said it early, talent rises to the surface. The talent of Trout has risen to the surface.
Bad calf or not, it's code red time for Dawson, who has to find a way out of this mess in round 8.
And Trout is doing it contained, controlled, technically solid, not leaving himself open to any carelessness, to any right hands from the sky. Every once in a while I see Trout go downstairs with the left hand to the body, and then he's looking to set up the right hook to the head.
Trout senses the time is now. He's putting on the pressure. He'd love to get a knockout in his return bout after back-to-back losses where he went down in the canvas in both of those fights. And here goes Dawson reeling back against the ropes again.
Time is not on the side of Dawson. A lot of time left in this round. Body work would make sense for me, for Trout, right now. Too much head work for me. Right now, if I was Trout, I'd be plugging a left hand to the body. Nice left hand in that midsection. Slow down some of the survival skills, some of the head movement, the defensive measures of Dawson. Take that away, and then go find the head.
20 seconds to go here in round 8. A round that saw Daniel Dawson go to the canvas.
Remember, Trout's a counterpuncher, even though he's been aggressive here. Not really his thing to be a finisher.
Here's the knockdown, Teddy.
Oh, we talked about the power punch to the southpaw Trout. Left hand. And the left hand did the damage there. Even though he's not a huge puncher, the left hand, he can turn into it. He turned into it, put his back into it, came back with the right hand, finished with another left hand, and put the tough 36-year-old man from down under, put him down under.
So 2 rounds to go. Both men have faced serious jeopardy in this fight. Trout going down twice in round 3. Dawson going down for the first time in his career in round 8. And he's in jeopardy of going down again as Trout fires away. We couldn't ask for much more at our season finale of Friday Night Fights. We had an opening fight, first round knockout rather. Our second fight went the distance, but it was fantastic as Eric Bonet won. And this main event is as good as it gets. And now Trout going to the body. Dawson's got to get out of there.
Again, the key for me, well, Trout's going to get it done anyway. But the key for me is go to the body now. Because those punches missing the head every once in a while, they would not miss the head. And Trout would place one good one downstairs.
Our referee, Jack Reese, taking a good look at Dawson now, who's taking more and more punishment without answering back.
See, right now, Trout, I should say Dawson, survival mode, obviously. Defensive mode, moving his head, moving his legs. You know, try to see everything coming. Try to avoid everything coming. If it's all coming to the head, he sees it. There's a right hand by Dawson trying to stay in it. But if he sees it coming to the head, he's going to move. He's going to avoid it. But if it goes to the body, that's going to paralyze him. That's going to freeze the head movement. So Trout could finish him. And there it is. One downstairs, one upstairs. Again, Trout being a little knockout happy. I understand it. He's back on national TV. He's lost 2 in a row. He was on the floor in this fight. You know, he feels it. He tastes it. He wants that knockout. But
Nobody may get it. Dawson rocked again.
But again, the way to get it, and he should know this better than anyone. He's technically a sound guy. The way to get it, go downstairs first. Trout's emotions a little bit in the way.
The criticism for Austin Trout has been that he is in boring fights. He's a boring fighter. That is not the case here tonight.
Well, he wishes it was a little bit, because part of what made it exciting is him putting his chin out there and getting dropped.
And Dawson nearly got dropped in round 9. One more to go, and I promise you it will be a good one.
He's going to try to get lucky. Don't let him. He's smart, okay?
1 round to go in our main event. What a fight it has been. There is Austin Trout. Went down twice in round 3. His opponent, Daniel Dawson, went down in round 8. This is the 10th and final round.
I listened in the corner on purpose. Wanted to eavesdrop a little bit. See if the people in the corner, Bobby Benton, his trainer, and the rest of them in the corner, they were telling Trout what I would be telling him, what I've been saying here. Go to the body. I never heard the word go to the body.
Look at the power punches landed over the last 3 rounds. 12 for Dawson, 86 for Austin Trout. But Teddy, I think you're right. Trout wants the knockout.
Well, at least he's going downstairs. He understands. Left hand to the body. He's banging with that left hand to the body this round, trying to set up the right hook upstairs.
And believe it or not, this is what Dawson wants too. He wants Trout to come into his wheelhouse so Dawson can try and land that lethal right.
Yeah, but Dawson right now is spending too much time deflecting, surviving, moving, than he is as far as looking for that thunderbolt that he needs to look for. That right hand down the middle.
Dawson almost assuredly needs a knockout here in round 10 if he wants to pull off one of the biggest upsets in boxing this year. But it looks like Trout is more likely to put his opponent on his backside. Can you imagine what would happen if Dawson could muster up the strength to land one more of those right hands? Australia might explode off the planet.
Again, Dawson too busy with incoming to worry about sending a missile in the direction of Trout. In other words, his hands are tied. He's a little busy surviving right now.
Teddy has given every round to Trout except for round 3, 87-81. A minute to go. You can hear Dawson's quarter yelling, let the hands go.
Again, no real sustained, committed body work this round by Trout. And I think that's one of the reasons Dawson's still there.
And perhaps Dawson's foundation has been compromised by the calf injury. Half minute to go here, round 10, the final round.
I gotta be honest, I don't see the calf injury playing into this at all. Dawson acted like a pro. He went out there, did all he could do, and this is all he could do.
It wasn't the fight that Trout expected, but it certainly got attention. Everyone tuning in to see this comeback by Austin No Doubt Trout. He's back. A up off the canvas, in fact, twice in round 3, and appears to have won an awesome fight against Daniel Awesome Dawson. From our main event, and there are plenty to choose from. Austin Trout and Daniel Dawson, Teddy.
Well, early on, Trout landed that left hand. That's what he's looking for. But then the third round, well, he wasn't looking for that. He reached in, right hand, bang, right on the chin, and it drops him. And that was only the first time. Then again, gets dropped again by the right hand. Lays in the middle, admires his work, and gets hit with the right hand. But then he takes control. Later in the fight, lands that power punch. The left hand with the southpaw, turns into it, comes back with the right hand, and then finishes with the left hand, and then gets the left hand raised in victory. At least I think so.
Let's see how you thought so. Your scorecard, 97-90, every round going to Trout except for that round number 3. And there's Dawson, still feeling good about himself. He just knocked down Austin Trout 2 times, but it looks like, according to our Facebook viewer scorecard, that he will not get the victory. Let's find out for sure. We send it into the ring to Barry Eagle.
Temecula, you just have seen one of the most exciting 10-round boxing matches you'll ever see. Let's hear it for these 2 valiant warriors. To the scorecards we go. All 3 judges are in agreement, scoring the bout 97-90 for the winner by unanimous decision. Out of Las Cruces, New Mexico, Austin No Doubt Trout.
Do you have any doubt about Austin No Doubt Trout now?
No, the drought is over for Mr. Trout. He hasn't lost 3 in a row now. He's back on the winning ways. I had a little doubt early. You know, he got out of what he does. He forgot what he did. He started reaching in a little bit, and he paid a price. But he's a former world champion. He behaves like a former world champion, getting himself up and getting the win.
A great season, Teddy. I enjoyed calling fights with you. I'll see you in October. Let's send it back to Doug Kazarian in our studio.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. What a way to wrap things up. And Teddy completing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Before we let you go, we want to get you a couple notes here. Confirmed a few hours ago tonight, one of the most anticipated fights of the year, the light heavyweight unification fight between 49-year-old Bernard Hopkins and Sergey Kovalev.